you guys. All right, to get started, as mentioned in a previous video, I said that I was gonna do like my whole like lymphatic drainage, like Gua Sha, kind of my whole thing with like rollers, and you know, it makes such a difference just in your eye bags, just in your overall health. I feel like how you feel, but your face, you might think, oh my gosh, I'm getting jowls. It's probably puffiness from fluid retention, from like buildup of all kinds of stuff. And it's become very, again, I got on not a stitch of anything. I have not even put on like my serums or my moisturizers. I'm gonna take you through it. I do this every single morning, and I'll explain that, but, and my ice roller, but the whole Gua Sha thing I do maybe like 3-4 times a week. I feel like there's been this whole, I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. My face is like cracking off. This is what I use in the morning. I use this really gentle cream cleanser, but y'all, I talked about this, it's the Zero Pore Blackhead Deep Cleansing Oil. I replaced my Chanel makeup removing oil with this, and I've been using this in the morning too. My skin has felt so good. I have not had a single breakout or a little bump since getting my the series of peels that begin in February. But I do have one tiny little thing. I don't know, it's probably the heat or whatever, but my skin's been really good. I'll link everything I'm using, okay? But I feel like it's become this really intense, which I think it's a good thing. I mean, it could be showing worse, right? Like trends on Instagram, you see people doing the Gua Sha, and people are really like, you're doing it wrong, and this and that. It's like, oh my God, yeah. But no, the way I do it, like, it works. I'm not an esthetician. It works for me. There's definite tips you should follow when doing it, like best ways to do it, but everyone's gonna do it a little differently, and it's totally fine, okay? It is hot. It's 105 degrees outside right now. I've been living in these little tanks. I will link to this. This is like my uniform. So this is what I do. I like to do it as sort of, sometimes I do it as the very last step. Sometimes I'll do the oils and then do my skincare, but I find I don't want to do that. I want to do it as my last step a lot of the time. I use that nice little serum, my moisturizer. I'll link to all of these things. You know, again, I don't want to say there's no right or wrong way, because yeah, you can, there are some things that you can kind of mess up with this that won't be as effective. We're gonna do some different things today. So we're gonna do this, and then I didn't ask me anything, and I got some really good questions on my Instagram, so we're gonna roll into that. Now, this is what I do every morning. I get up, I roll out of bed. Before I even have anything, I go downstairs, I'm making breakfast, you know, I'm making whatever. You can have your coffee, you can do what you wanna do in the morning, but I grab this out of the freezer as I'm making breakfast. And I'm just gonna say, get you an ice roller. This one's good, this one's expensive. I love it. I would not do this over my skincare. I literally do this over like my slept in face, and it literally just wakes me up. And I didn't do that this morning. But again, just for the sake of showing you this, I don't even think when I'm doing it. I'm just like, at the time I was like, oh, it just feels so good. Okay, so that's what I do. All over. Up. Okay, this is just you know, I'm just gonna wake myself up kind of vibe, but I'm just showing you all the things, okay? And then under there, down. Now this guy is a must, okay? This one was around $12 to $15. Same exact material, same exact quality as the ones that are upward of like 60, 70. This is the key to like waking up your whole like lymphatic system. And that sounds woo-woo, but it looks like a little bundle of like, think like clusters of like grapes, or not grape, they're little, you know, but it's just, they're in a branch, right? Like berries, and it goes all the way down your neck. Here, they run through your chest. Honestly, like after I do this, you almost feel like you're, I don't want to say like swallowing stuff, but like you feel like you're kind of releasing some stuff, okay? Ice roll in the morning, whatever. This is what's gonna like wake up everything. Now, this, I kind of just do this. Now you wanna like wake up your circulation, get everything flowing, okay? I don't always do it on my forehead, it's kind of dumb, but I'll show you. I do this every day, okay? I'm not saying like the whole Gua Sha step, this takes 2 seconds, but this, we'll talk about the Gua Sha and everything in a second, but this is kind of like what I do every day. Go like this, and in this little corner, or in this little nook, go like that. Now I've seen people that are really doing the most, they're like, wake up your this and do that, 10 pumps and do that. Sure, great. I ain't doing that, okay? I ain't doing that every day. My deodorant, like my natural deodorant, it like really gets up in there, okay? Really just remove the hell out of your armpits. And then this, Oh, you really go to town. I saw someone really marketing the heck out of this. All these little devices that look like they have little nubs, little brushes that have nubs to go down your neck. This is the best thing. Oh, on the back of the neck right here. And this is heavy, it's heavy duty. Ooh, it gets into the back of your neck. And then you just rub down, okay? You rub everything down. And you almost feel like you're truly draining everything out of your neck and out of your face. Okay, so this I love. This kind of wakes up everything. This is great. Then I go into everything else, my makeup, whatever. Now, if I'm gonna do the whole Gua Sha thing, let me show you what I do. There's 3 different oils that I like. I really love this one. This one is great for acne. If you're acne prone, love that. Also, all of these are great for acne prone skin. I don't care if you aren't acne prone. You don't want to use stuff that's gonna be clogging up your pores. All of these will not, okay? The Colleen Rothschild face oil number 9, amazing. The slip on this is crazy. This, okay, the Bloom, I've gone through so many of these I can't even count. I mix this with my moisturizer in the morning sometimes too, but every night I mix this with my moisturizer. And if you are suffering with hormonal acne or clogged pores, you need to incorporate an oil. Like, you literally can't have clogged pores if you use the right oil. Okay, I mean, your skin will just be like a slip, like you won't have any, like it's true. Because it like can't mix, it almost like dislodges things, okay? But if you've got like inflammation, hormonal acne, this actually can penetrate to it, and it's a very beautiful product. This is new that I got, it's this watermelon oil, and I'm gonna use that today. So, we're not dripping all over our faces to look cute for the gram. Put some in your hand, and it smells so good. It smells like watermelon. We're gonna pat it on your face. Pat it on your face. Pat it on your neck. Gua Sha stone, I've had metal ones. I like one that's like a stone. I don't think they sell this one anymore, but I'll link to some that are exactly the same. You want it shaped like this, and I've seen some that have the little teeth on it. When people really go to town to create, and they're like, look at this side, look at my lips, versus it's because it's irritated your skin and it's plumped it up temporarily. I'm very gentle with my skin. I will rub the hell out of this to get I mean, you'll see I go to town, but I'm not, like, if I have little lines, I'm not superficially aggravating the top of my skin to create blood flow. This creates the blood flow, the ice, this will as well, but for a temporary, you know, fill in for the gram of the wrinkles. That's just not, and I know there's benefits to that. I'm just saying it's okay that it's not my vibe. That's just not, you just want one that looks like this. So here's what you do. Start with my forehead on the flat end. Now this is not, I don't do the most on my forehead. I haven't had Botox in about 6 months. That's usually when I do get it. Mine's really worn off. I don't know, I may not get any for a while. I was thinking around my birthday, which is coming up, you guys, 41, July 16th, which is nuts. Good. My forehead's sensitive. I don't like to go to town. But you're gonna see, you're gonna get red, and that's okay. Under eye, I use kind of the flat end. I'm really gentle with my under eye. I go to town down here, okay? I start with the curved side. You're gonna get into that pocket right under your cheekbone. You're gonna fill your cheekbone under there. Go to town in this area, right in between, like your nasal, that little nook right there. Get in there. It's very serious, you guys. Turn it to the curved end, and you're gonna kind of hug your cheekbone up, down, up, down, up, down, about 5 or 10 times. You're gonna start getting a little red. Then you're gonna take this, flip it to the long end, and really scoop it under this area. Do this about 10 times or 50, you know. Up, up. And then you're gonna get you're gonna start feeling some like tension here, like a little sore, and you kind of up and then down, up, down, up, down. Take that flat end and really go to town down your neck. That's why you need to like put the oil on your neck too. My skin gets very red, just touching it, putting moisturizer on, I get red. So I'm pretty red after this, but it goes away. But your skin will look so lifted and really nice. It goes away about 5 minutes. And then you're gonna do it to the other side. And again, everybody's gonna have like a little different vibe of how they do, and that's okay. But there are some things you wanna remember. You don't want to do this and then not go down the neck. You have to like dump it off. You have to get it down the neck, okay? And you can do this a bunch, but then also get it down, and then get it down. whatever you want. And then I've seen people I mean, it hurts me sometimes to watch people really going nuts on their skin with these things. But I mean, it feels so good after this. My skin feels nice. I feel refreshed. I feel like I don't have any puffiness at all. I can wake up in the morning and look like Mickey Rourke or like a different person, or, you know, and then, you know, I give myself a second to settle. Use your ice roller, use these things, and it's like, boom, you're done. Now, if you do have those little, we all, you know, it's, yeah, lack of sleep, fluid retention, could be all these things, but I'm telling you, if you really go to town with your Gua Sha and you really kind of like take this seriously, really like roll your face, go to town with that, it's gonna be good. Now, again, not a stitch of makeup, I'm not filtering this, like this is what my skin looks like. My pores are good, my texture's good, I don't have a lot of fine lines or wrinkles, and I really do attribute that to, you know, taking care of my skincare, but like the puffiness and just your face shape, even, you know, like you get into your 40s and you start seeing some things here and there and everywhere, this really does help. This is just the one that I prefer, one shaped like this, which is very basic. Okay, good morning, you guys. Again, it's a new day. I'm gonna do a Ask Me Anything. I got more questions, I think, than ever. I'm gonna sit down on the bed here in a second, but I want to show you this cute outfit. It's so dang hot. I don't want to talk about it. It's like, oh, it's been over 100 degrees. I think today it's cooled off, so it's like 90. But there's just no wearing the hair down. I tried to do my bangs cute yesterday, and they were just like sticking in my face. If you wear your hair down in this weather, you can't be trusted. I don't know what's going on. But anyways, this is just a really cute little classic like eyelet top, which little tops like eyelet and stuff has kind of been trending. But this one is cute without looking like a doily, and just very light and easy. And these shorts, this is the same brand and the same style that I have a few pairs of in the shorter version. Something about these I really do like. This sort of like mid-length is nice and comfortable. Okay, let's get into this, you guys. I was really surprised by the amount of questions that I got. And yeah, I don't know. I need like a little table to sit this on. Hopefully you're all rested and depuffed from what we learned yesterday. Actually, this is the same video, so maybe you're picking up a little tool, a little roller or a Gua Sha or something. Literally, it'll change your life. I didn't do the Gua Sha this morning because I did it yesterday. Like I said, I use it like 3-4 times a week, sometimes less than that, but usually about 3 times a week. But every morning I do use the purple roller, and it just makes you feel so much better. I don't know, like it literally makes your face look so much better. So I film on my phone, so I've got my big old lady iPad, and I'm like, okay, I can read the questions on here. So I'm not kidding you guys. I probably got, I mean, at least a couple hundred questions. There's a lot, I got a lot of questions. So got the questions here. We've got a lot now. We have not done this on this channel in so long. This was these are the most questions I've ever gotten. Brad and I do it occasionally on the podcast, but this is so nice. I'm so comfortable. Okay, this is really great. Oh. All right, so someone asked, what's the recipe for the pancakes? I posted these pancakes that were like cookie butter pancakes. I thought, this is obvious, they're from IHOP. Is there any luxury piece, either fashion or jewelry, that's on your wish list? Honestly, no. I don't know how to describe it, but like, I don't know, like whenever I bought handbags in the past, or I still do, you know, I still will buy things, and if I find something I like, sure, but you know, I don't know, like I never bought it to try to like, oh, it made me feel a certain way, I've got to have it for this. It's just because I truly liked them and I wanted like certain classic pieces, and I feel like I've got a really great collection, and I know eventually I'll find something that I like, but I guess what it is I'm not constantly like trolling to try to get a fix to find something. It's just if something's really good and it comes up, I'll get it. Thoughts on GLP-1? All right, listen guys, I'm not a doctor, and I just really hate that there is so much medical information and people look to influencers for nutrition and for anything like that. Like, I think we've kind of gone a little wrong there. Even like when I was doing the lymphatic drainage thing yesterday, I really made it a point to say like, I don't say there's no right or wrong way to do it, but you see people that really do these videos on it saying, I'm an expert, and you very might well be, but do, but I don't know. Like, I'm not going to like your medical office. I don't know. And that's like a pretty tame thing. I'm not saying like you're giving like dangerous advice. And there is some things that you could do a little wrong with it, but it's to the point where I've seen people that show their routines and people be like, no, that's not how you do it. I'm like, you need to calm down. Okay. So, even when I did like my breast augmentation video several years ago, the message of it was just full transparency. Like, I'm going to share with you, but the message was stop taking advice. I'm never going to tell you the exact type. I'm never going to even say, go to this particular doctor. Here's the size. Because if I tell you my size, I started like at a -A, and then you go get that size, you could look like you got basketballs sitting on your chest, because I've got very large implants. Or it depends on where you start, you know? So I cannot stand when someone says, I got a 420cc and a this and a profile. And I'm like, good for you, but you're gonna influence someone to go ask for that, and nobody has your body, and they could get a wildly terrible result, okay? It's not like suggesting a blush or anything, or even when people ask like, what's the you know, which I don't color my hair, but what's the formula of hair color you use? Okay, well, unless if you've got my exact hair color and type and it takes color the same, you could look completely different. I just am very firm on doing your research, going to someone board certified. Why are we talking about this? I don't know, I guess because we're talking about like medical stuff. And doing that rather than taking people's advice on the internet. But do take my advice about doing those things. Okay. And I guess it was just to say like, oh my gosh, like there was a wellness influencer years ago that was real. She got slung a free breast augmentation, which I'm sure because there was a lot of pushing it, you know. And I know now, like, I mean, she was really pushing these types of specific implants and doing all this. Well, now those specific types have been found to be linked to certain things, and they just never talk about them again. They got their breast augmentation removed, and it's just like, yeah, I just decided to do this. Well, you need to tell people, you know? Like, are you telling people now? Okay, you know what I mean. Now GLP-1 though, I'm just not versed. I know that's different than like Ozempic. Those are like what, the semaglutides and stuff. That's different. GLP-1 I think is different. But I don't know, but I'm just not versed in it. But my thoughts are, I think it's wild that people have so many thoughts on it. I think that you need to, if you're into it, talk to your doctor about it and do it or don't. But getting people's advice on the internet, I don't know. Maybe like you could see someone's story who's just sharing a story, you know, organically, and you might be then influenced or inspired to go talk to your doctor about it. But getting any real information, it's just a recipe for disaster. And if you are someone that, let me just hold on. So if you are someone that's that judgy about it, I don't get the judginess. You need to like assess your life. If you're not using it, then what's your problem? Like, if you don't like it so much, great. Why are you talking about it? There must be a problem. There's something deeper there, I think, when people are really overly vocal about judging something that they don't have. Whether it's like plastic surgery, injectables, people judge like, I would never get Botox. I would never put anything in my face filler. But these people literally have been dyeing their hair for years and won't like leave the house without a full face of makeup. So I'm like, ma'am, please relax. So I just think it speaks to a deeper thing. I'm all for letting people do whatever they want to do. Let them, as Mel Robbins or someone else would say. I really should have brought a little table for my coffee closer. Okay. And I have a lot of questions. Okay, so I posted that picture of me like on that little walkout like on the beach, like when I said like ask me anything, and people are saying like links to the shirt, links to your shorts, links to the bag. In the very next slide I put links to my outfit, and I think most of you guys know that. Should probably respond to them. Follow me on LCK or don't, or just go over there if you ever are like, it's all posted there. If you're like, where's Tiffany's bed from? Just go to my LCK and search bed, you know what I mean? Or I can help you, but I'm just saying it's there. It's all there. Favorite sunscreen that won't break you out. I've talked about this so many times. The Elta MD, I will link it below. I use it every single day. Today though, I used the, oh my gosh, the Color Science, which is I was gonna say an SUV. Come on, coffee. An SPF and foundation kind of in one. And I'll link to that as well. They just came out with a light shade because when I did a video on that before, I was in between fair and medium, and that's a wild jump. And I always thought, why don't they have a shade in between there? And they came out with a light now, so the light is perfect. And I am going to next week do a video on makeup. I've got some new makeup, okay? Some new like cheek stuff that I've never shown that I think I might be liking a little more than the sticks and things that I've used. Those sticks I've been using for years, but you know, when we find something new, I like to really kind of test it out. I've been using it for a few months now. I'm liking it. But I'm gonna do makeup for warm weather, and it's not what you think. Like, I've lived in the South my whole life. Like, I've dealt with it. I've made all the mistakes. And sometimes I think it's not so obvious, but there's something to do that will definitely help. So we're gonna do that. And those two will not break you out. Okay, would you ever go back blonde? Speaking of hair color, I never say never, but you know what? I think what it was over the years, I really did like my hair blonde. I really did. And I look back on pictures sometimes and I'm like, but I don't know. I feel like that look, I feel for me is a little, I don't know. It looks like a certain time. And I don't know. I'm really embracing my natural color. I have been for years. I don't know, I just never looked back. I really do like the tone of my hair. It's a little of a reddish warm brown when you really look at it, and it is pretty, and I think it looks good with myself. I don't know, even when I was blonde, I could never say I'm a blonde. Like, I could be the most platinum blonde and I would still think I'm like a dark brunette, you know. It just never clicked with me, and I was blonde for many years. So I don't know. I'm gonna rock it as long as I can. I'm gonna be 41 on July 16th, and I don't have any grays yet, but I'm waiting every day. Now, I do have a few that pop up in my eyebrows, but I always think like, okay, this is the day I'm gonna see it, and so far, so good. But we will keep rocking it until I do. I'm gonna be 30 next month. What advice would you give about money, marriage, kids, and career? That's a lot. If you want all that advice, go to our podcast, because we've dove deep on that the last 4 years. We just celebrated our 4-year anniversary there. We have, real things. We've talked about struggles. We've talked about something. I've been with my husband for over 20 years now. And I feel like, you know, you do go through phases in a marriage. You go through different things. And I feel like we're at a better place than ever. And it's just really good to kind of, I think, talk things out. And I feel like we do share some real golden advice. But here's the thing. If I could say one thing, you're going to be 30. Like, leave your 20s behind, but appreciate things that they taught you, okay? Now, I don't know if she's married or what, or kids, career, I don't know. I don't know if you've got kids. I don't know if you are married. I'm going to say do what you want to do. Don't let pressures of things that you think you need to do. That's kind of obvious. But you can get kind of caught up in things. Brad and I got married pretty young, like at 23, 24, because we wanted to. And we had like 6-7 years without kids because I didn't have Olivia till I was 30. And we always knew we wanted kids, but it was such a nice time to live our 20s together, and we traveled so much. We did so many things. We still do. We have fun and stuff. But I think that time, if you can swing it this way, I think that time alone, married for a while before kids, I think is even more crucial than the time that you get married. I hear so many women just giving blanket statements, and these are usually women that are single, and that's wonderful, that say, wait, don't get married till your 30s, don't get married till your 30s. I know people that got married in their 30s for disasters, and I know people that got married in their teens, disasters, 20s, disasters. It doesn't matter when, it's just the person, it's the time, and it's your life, and nobody's lives are gonna align. People that got married in their early 20s, that have been married their whole lives, you know what I mean? Or people that find each other later in life, happy. So that is, I think, a wild statement, but I think the idea there is, what women are trying to say there is, don't rush into anything. And I so agree to that. And that's what I'm going to say. Sometimes if you do find someone that is the right one, or you do have that feeling that it's different, or you know you want to get married, whether it's in your 20s, 30s, whatever, do it, okay? And take that leap of faith and do it if you feel like it's right. But do not feel like you put off your marriage until your 30s. Now I just got to have marriage, kids, all this, that. I think that is kind of, a very risky recipe, because for one, you definitely want to make sure it's right before you have kids. And that's not really why we waited or anything. It was just, we were having fun together. We weren't really at the point where we were like sure yet, like okay, because we had that in our mind, like things have to be perfect, things are never gonna be perfect. But it was great, it worked out when it did. But I think there's so much value in being with someone long term, even if you're not going to get married, just living with someone, having a long term relationship for, I would say, a good 5 years or so before you have kids. And I know not every woman has the luxury of like waiting that long. You know, I didn't have Olivia until I was 30s. So I think if I would have waited longer than that, you know, you could go some different routes and do things, you know, you could freeze your eggs, you could do things to kind of ensure that, you know, you could do what you wanted to do with a family in your future. That's a different route for everyone. But I think that there's just so much value. You can't just say, I'm going to have kids, there's going to be my family. Like, your family is not going to work if your marriage isn't solid or your partnership isn't solid. I'm not saying you have to be married, but you have to make sure that's solid. And when we got married, hell, like we dated for 4 years before we even got 3-4 years before we even got married. When you get married, that first year of marriage, we were wildly different people at a totally different part of life with totally different stresses, lack of stresses than we were 2 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years later. Do you know what I mean? You know, my gosh, like things do change and come around later. I'm not saying don't stick around if something's bad, but I'm just saying people change, things change, and you need to be with someone during a wide window or a long period of time to test all those changes together before I think. Then you bring a child in, then it's kind of, I remember then when we had Livy, Brad and I were so like tight together that things would happen and it wouldn't be like, oh my God, I'm so stressed. And we would look at each other like, oh my God, because we felt like we were like a true team, you know what I mean? And things weren't perfect there either. Nothing's ever gonna be perfect. But my thing is, one hand, don't rush it. But on the other hand, don't also wait for some societal standard to say you can't get married until your 30s and then you have to then rush all the steps, because that can be not great either. I would say just take your time with everything, but get to know your partner before you have kids. And this was a very big question. Money, I mean, I don't know. We've talked about that so much too. We've talked about all our jobs, how we've like invested in things. I made a lot in my early 20s on those first days of YouTube, and we did well with our first house. We did well when we bought this house, and we started investing early. So I'm like, I'm retiring when there's a magic number in my 50s when I can retire and cash out, and I'm like, I'm counting down the days, okay? But I'm counting it down. But if I hadn't have done that, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying you have to have a lot of money to do that. Start somewhere. It's all relative to where you are in the moment. Anyone can do that. And don't get caught up in the biggest and the best with homes. We see so much on Instagram. Oh, you gotta have a house that looks like this. You gotta have like, our house is old, and like we just keep, not old, but it's like it was built in the 90s, you know, it's not like some new build or anything, but like we got it. It was like the cheapest house in the neighborhood when we bought it. Now we've got a, you know, it's great how much it's worth and stuff. I feel like we were smart with it, but just obvious stuff, you know, don't spend. Okay, it's stupid. I don't need to give you guys advice. You guys know about that. But my overarching advice would just be live within your means, because nobody flipping cares. You think like, oh, I'm going to get this new house. I'm going to have to post it on the gram. And then guess what? You got to pay for it and nobody cares in 2 days. Literally nobody cares. So just be happy wherever you are. You can make anything beautiful. And I think really, you know, when I get into my late 30s, I started feeling really the lack of F's in my 30s. And even in my 20s, I was a little bit like, who cares? But certainly now I feel like I'm a different person than I was then, as far as just how I feel about what people think and how I live my life. I don't let anybody like influence what I'm doing. I really value my peace. I don't care. And I've always said that even on YouTube back in the day. I don't care about numbers, don't care about likes, don't care about any of that. I'm just working it out, you know? I'm not trying to impress anybody. All right, this is huge. Are you posting a preview for the NSALE? Okay, I was gonna talk about that today. The Nordstrom anniversary sale is coming up. Now, you guys know me for the anniversary sale because I'm not trying to my own horn, but it is a fact. I've been here for 17 years, but I've been posting about the anniversary sale since before Livy was born, so that's over 10 years. And y'all kind of knew me for that. And not many people were posting about the Nordstrom sale. And then, you know, I started doing those first campaigns that Nordstrom started offering. People started sort of like associating me with Nordstrom stuff. And now we see like the sale is a huge thing. And everybody talks about it and everybody's got their previews, but I have been y'all know, listen, I always have you covered, okay? We know what we're doing. Like on the 8th, okay, the real sale for everyone, like non-card holders, starts like the week after that. But on the 8th is the first tier of when the card holders can shop. So if you want to shop the sale early, I would definitely recommend that. I don't do store credit cards, but Nordstrom's like a store credit card I have, and I have gotten so much free stuff, like thousands of dollars with my points and stuff. I just pay it off every month. It's great. But you can shop early with that. But since I'm at the highest tier, shamefully, I can shop that first day on the 8th. And I've been working with the same sales associate, my friend, for years. And I go in before the store opens. She knows what I want because it's in my wish list. And I get in, I get out, I come home, and I show you guys. And it gets still very early, so don't be alarmed that I'm not like slinging dates at you and stuff. And we always get it, you guys know, without a fail, what I know I'm doing here. But my big thing is, okay, with the preview, and I've said this every year, anyone has access to look at the items on the preview. And I'll get into that in a second, but the whole big thing about the sale, and you guys know I don't sling random sales at you all the time, because I do think a lot of time, the only time I'm going to show you all the time, the only time I'm going to show you something is if it's something really great. And I don't really all the time love a sale, because unless you like just really need something and you're like, okay, I really need some kids' clothes and they're just all on sale, or you know, whatever, or things go on sale and then they're not going to be on sale next week. I don't know, but I feel like a lot of times it's just a bunch of crap. So with the Nordstrom sale though, it's new items for fall. It's all new items. It's beauty items. Oh my gosh, it's brand new things. And then after the sale in a month, that's their new fall stuff that's hiked up. That's why the sale is a big deal. And most of my things that I've gotten over the years have come from the sale. And designer sunglasses, you know, beauty stuff. So it's really, really exciting. It is a huge thing. And I'm so excited every year to see what it's going to be. This year I do have a very good feeling that it's going to be good, okay? I have heard good things, so I'm excited about that. But the actual preview is going to be up on the website where you can see the items, not all of them, but they put like thousands or hundreds of items on there that you can kind of preview. And then when the sale hits on the 8th, you know, for the card holders, the early access, then there's more. But anyone can look at those items, okay? But you just can't add them to your cart. You can add them to your wish list, which is what I do. But you can go through and look, okay? Now, I get my eyes on every single thing. Then I go in store that morning, get my hands on things. Y'all know that one of my biggest pet peeves is people that kind of do what I do, and they're influencing people to spend thousands of dollars, literally hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not more, because they've got a big following. And I'm not trying to say anything bad about people, but I just feel like sometimes the ethics is a little odd here with certain things. It bothers me that you're not buying yourself. You know, you're just taking screenshots of websites and just putting together things. I do that sometimes if I already have the item, or if I've shopped something, I'm like, now these are all so cute. But y'all know that's not my vibe all the time. And so it bothers me when those wish lists or the preview comes out for the NSALE and people are literally just taking pictures of the flyers they got in the mail, and I'm like, yeah, we get it. Like, we can all access that. And there's been times when I have wish listed a lot of stuff from the preview and I get there and I'm like, hell no, like, I don't like this. Like, I'm glad I didn't recommend it. I really can't sleep at night if I recommend crap to you guys. I realize I'm making people spend money if I recommend something, so I like to have my hands on things. Prior to the sale, I might show you guys a few things that's in my wish list. I normally don't do that, but a few days before the 8th, I might put some things on my LTK. Having said that, but I'm just saying, I think what you mean by the preview is that day on the 8th. Man, I get it going, okay? I get it home. That's my favorite day. I love that day so much. I leave the house like 6 a.m., like so early, and they're like unlocking the door and like letting me in. And then they have the big event, you know, they have that event for the card members, so that's gonna be really fun. So don't you worry about that. Propaganda you are not falling for, that foolery. You want to hear me rant about all kinds of stuff, head of the podcast, okay? Because you know what? The Labubu's were a current propaganda that I'm not falling for. We also discussed Sardines Girl Summer. You guys just want to buckle up for this? Sardine Girl Summer. Okay. Like, listen, I get it. I get that there's fashion trends. Okay, I love a trend. But I think also we've gone a little woo-hoo, like with certain things. And I love it. I love fun though. Like I love a good time. If that makes you happy, I love it. And then Labubu's, I really were like, okay, like I love this for kids, but like these grown women doing it just so they can be like, look, I got this. Fine and great. See, that's my thing. I'm trying to turn over a new leaf. If you like it, I love it. Right? I love these. My Missoni cups from 2008. Do you guys remember the Target Missoni cups? But, okay, so in the podcast episode, which if you guys did not listen to this last podcast episode, like, buckle up, okay? Like, and there's things like I definitely could not say here, okay? It's behind a paywall for a reason. If you really want to get to know me, go over there if you're interested. But the propaganda, okay, the Labubus. We talked and talked and talked. And then I ended up talking myself into one. So I did order one for research. SPF for kids. Livy loves a rash guard. She has very sensitive skin. I've never put, and I'm kind of a little, I'm not crunchy with things. I'm not, but I'm also not stupid. I think there is a time and place to be crunchy, and I'm very, very, very concerned about sunscreens. I have not, I'm just gonna be honest, I never wore sunscreen much on my face. My face looks fine, and I'm not saying that's a great thing, but I do wear my Ulta MD, my mineral sunscreen every single day now. I'm really taking care of my skin now. I wear a visor every time I get in the pool, especially after going through all that time and money with those peels and seeing the difference in my skin. And I'll link the visor below. It is pricey, but I love it. They do have a half-priced one on Nordstrom rack right now that's a different color. So that visor is really great. But I do have like a little stick. It's like mineral. I put on my ears, and I'll put on Livy's face, and I'll list a few below that I like. I do like that vacation spray sunscreen, which I do believe is a little chemical-y, but a lot of times I'm like, I would rather just be careful out in the sun and not wear anything than put the chemical sunscreen on my skin. If a mineral sunscreen, I'll bathe in it, okay? And that's all that I put on Olivia. I don't put chemical sunscreen on her. Summer homeschooling, girl, no, we take a break, okay? And we take a break. All right, now homeschooling is one, and we do get deep in that on the podcast too, but it is one of the best things I think I've ever done. And I went to school to be a teacher. I have a bachelor's of science in early childhood education. I had a very huge stigma on homeschooling, never would have done it. And I don't know, something drew me to it, and I just knew that was what would be good for her. I just feel like she's so far ahead. I feel like just seeing her with certain friends and certain people, she's so much more socialized. And I'm sorry to say that, but she's been around a lot of people, and it's just not what it used to be. And I think it just depends on your vibe, on your home environment. Are you so remote that your kid's never around anybody else? Like, that's not the case. So there is a time and a place. Things are good, and pros and cons, things that she misses out in, a regular, like, typical system of schooling, and there's certain things those kids are missing. That there's pros and cons to everything, you know what I'm saying? But oh my gosh, it's gonna be our 5th year doing it, and no, 6th year, because she's going into the 5th grade, and we did kindergarten too. So I love it. It's one of the best things I've ever done, and for her too, like, she really loves it. And she does piano. She keep her in piano over the summer because she loves her piano teacher. And I think it's important if you do live in a state where it's legal that you have to also have another teacher, or your child has to be in a cohort, which that's not the case in Georgia. You can certainly do that if you want, but we've never done that. I do think if you're your child's like only teacher with school stuff, put them in something where they do have a teacher for something. And I'm not even saying a coach or a sport. I'm saying like a music lesson. I think music lessons pair perfectly with a homeschool vibe, because then they have another teacher. Do you know what I'm saying? I think that's important for them to kind of get that structure with someone else. And she's done that. She's done piano now year round for, gosh, this will be her 4th year. And she really loves that. This year though, like, okay, so people always like, do you have a piano? Yeah, so Livy has a wall piano in her room that is like, because she has this little nook in her room. She has a big, nice room, but she's got this little nook where it used to be like her little playhouse and things, but we put her wall piano in there, and so she can practice, and she has that. Because for years now, I'm like, they're expensive. I want this like baby grand piano, and I know where I'm gonna put it, and I keep telling Brad, like, this, we just have to pull the trigger and do this. And so we're gonna do that one day, okay? That's like something I think maybe this year I'm like, for Christmas, for the family, like, let's just do this, let's get a nice piano. But I think that's great. And summer homeschooling, what's that like? Same or as in, oh, and something else with summer homeschooling. So some people do year-round homeschooling. We do take a break over the summer because I do think that's really important. But she does have like a test prep book. She does like certain practice things. I have like this math book that comes with her curriculum that has like little extra tests and stuff that she works on over the summer so she doesn't forget. I saw like 3 questions on care and read. You guys, our podcast, we've been breaking it down since before the last trial. So I'm like an expert in care and read, all things care and read. Okay, we talked about it all. And we don't have the time. We simply do not have the time. I've talked about it a little here, but go to the podcast. But I'll put lots of that on the podcast. Thoughts on Sherry Papini? Okay, asks, how much time do you got? Okay, so Sherry Papini, just real quick, we talked about this on the podcast. We break down all these true crime things, and my opinion may not be popular. Originally, I'm just gonna keep this short and sweet, and I've gone into deep depth on what I think happened on the podcast, but obviously, like, okay, she's such a grifter, like, fake, whatever. We saw the first Hulu doc with her husband, which that was pretty biased. I like to have I like to hear from everyone. What am I trying to say? Her last documentary was kind of kooky. She's on a media tour right now because she's written a book. So now everybody's like, I've got the exclusive, She's literally hitting everybody, okay? And I listened to her interview with Heather McDonald, and I don't want to say like it changes anything for you, but it does kind of solidify more of what I thought after watching the documentary, after like thinking about it all. The woman was having an emotional... Listen, here, it's so easy, you guys. And I think we get so caught up in the media sounds and like, everybody's voices and opinions, all of the details that we're getting. I think this happened a lot with the Karen Reed trial too. To then we start like almost rolling with a narrative where we're just not looking at the big picture. This is just so easy to understand what happened. To me, I feel, okay. She'd had some texting affairs, emotional affairs, I don't know, other affairs in the past. Her husband didn't trust her. They had a post up that said that if she ever had gotten caught talking to another man or anything, that he would take her children away. Now, here she is having a full-ass emotional affair with her ex, James, who was the guy that ended up kidnapping her. So she was having an emotional affair with him, okay? Not great. Her husband, she says, is a big old nightmare. He kind of does seem like a big old nightmare, but I don't know. Okay, lots of weird ass stuff happened there, and she didn't, she was like saying that she was going to cut off the emotional affair, and then she gets in the car with James. She doesn't remember how or where, I don't know. I think that she conveniently doesn't remember how she got in the car with him because she's claiming that he just kidnapped her and then like beat and did all those things to her, okay, and then everyone's saying, no, it's a hoax. Okay, we got it. We got the story. But my thing is, I think that she doesn't remember how she got into the car because she can't fully explain that. She can't, because I think she knows that she probably willingly got into the car with him because she knew him, and she got in to maybe talk to him, but then that doesn't explain why was her phone like dropped. Okay, that's a whole thing. And then he took off with her. Maybe, let's just say hypothetically, this guy's a cuckoo, because I fully believe that James is the biggest cuckoo in the bunch. And the fact that us as women and people like are given this dude a pass because we're putting Sherry Papini on like the big villain platform. She told him to do all those things. So I'm like, what kind of man in his right mind? So you're telling me it's okay if a woman goes to a man and says like, hey, I'm thinking of kidnapping. Will you do X, Y, and Z to look like I've been like completely, I don't want to talk about you guys know all the things. I don't know what I can say on YouTube, but because we get into all of it on the podcast, but YouTube's pretty particular about those things. And then the man goes, okay. And us is just, and all of us, okay? The FBI, all of us watching is like, okay, yeah, I see what happened. James just did that, yeah. And she's the victim. No, this guy's a fucking lunatic, okay? Even if she told him to do it and he agreed to it, lock him up. This guy's bad news. But I don't believe that, okay? I don't believe any man would do that. This was a man that had some level of intelligence, okay? This is not some like guy that has no means, that doesn't know what this man And I said this on the podcast a long time ago. I have been screeching and screaming about this James fool. Okay. I do believe that she willingly went with him. And I think she was going to try to, knock it off or break it off. And then I do believe that there was an element of him being nuts and wanting to keep her there as like his person. I think that he was obsessed with her, because you cannot, and the biggest tell with that is everything I said, but him boarding up the window. And then he tells the police, oh, but she said she just wanted to hang a sheet, sir. Get some blackout curtains. You're going to say it's easier to board up a window? This man had planned this, okay? And I'm not, and people say, oh, but Sherry planned it too. And she said for him to board up the window. You don't need all that. If she was complicit in it, you wouldn't board up a window. You would just close the windows, and she'd be in on it enough to know, hey, Sherry, don't open the window. So this guy's bad news. Now, I also thought, okay, now, and I do think that, okay, I'm more on that side, because you think logically, and we want to believe the salacious story that this woman staged her hoax kidnapping. And I do believe she's a big old liar. She did lie about a lot of stuff, and she's a little out there. But nothing else makes any sense, okay? This man, I believe, is bad news. And then I think when she came back, and I think that he did have no problem sending her back, because he knew, okay, that the heat's coming down on me, and he knew what a bad situation that she was in with her husband, where if she even mentioned or breathed the word of his name, her husband's gonna like take her children from her. She'd already signed that document, which is essentially what happened. So then she comes back, and instead of saying, hey, James did this to me, she knows the husband knows that James is her ex and isn't gonna believe her that this wasn't something that she was in on, which that's what happened. Everybody didn't believe her. She didn't want to lose her kids, so she made up that it was women. Not right, not good, but it's just pretty obvious to me what happened. I think she's a big old liar. I think she freaks me out. Another theory too, I do believe that they were into some weird stuff together. So I could see maybe if that happened and she's like, I just need a little breakaroo for a little bit, come get me, and they're into this weird stuff together. I think they could have just had a wild, weird time together. Because she said that okay, I don't even want to talk about it. But I just think that us saying like, oh, it was a hoax kidnapping, she made him do all this stuff, but he's okay. Guys, no. This guy, no. There's a lot. There's a lot more to it. Best advice for first-time moms reflecting on what you know now versus in the baby stage. So much. I look back, and because Brad and I, first of all, soak up every minute, because oh my God, there's nights I'll look back at those photos, moms, parents, am I right? And it just kills you, because you're like, oh, like, do I fully remember that stage? Did I soak that up enough? Like, I could cry thinking about it. And I think, Brad and I, we have the luxury of like having our business at home, and we love that. Like, we're great together, and that's always been wonderful. But we are very apart. We're very like independent. We do our own thing. That's very important. My hands look very large when I'm gesturing. But because of that, I think it's a blessing also, because she's homeschooled, that she's had a lot of interaction with us. Like, we're with her so much. And I think that's great. Like, she's picked up a lot of good things, hopefully, and some bad things. But so we've been able to spend a lot of time with her. So I'm proud of that. So, but what's my point of that? My point is, even with us being with her so much, there's still things I'm like, oh gosh, was I fully in on that? And you'll look back and you'll think, things I was even worried about during that time that may have taken me away from like fully being invested in certain time. It's just all stupid, you know what I mean? So, and I let this go pretty fast too, just because of this, and you get people that give you advice, and that goes out the window real quick. I was really, okay, so advice for a first-time mom: don't get hung up on those stupid books and baby classes and stuff, because that ain't gonna do shit. Okay, that's gonna do nothing. And a lot of times, like, certain family members will try to like either catastrophize it or say, oh, you're never gonna sleep again, or you're never gonna do this. But then also, I have so many of my friends already have babies, and I wasn't fully warned about like certain things that are going to happen to your body afterwards, or you're going to have to wear a diaper for a long time, or certain things are going to happen. And again, I value that, because they don't want to scare you either. So I'm just going to say you just have to roll with it, you know? No amount of birthing classes, no amount of anything is going to prepare you for anything. No birth plan. Like, sure, if there's something where you're like, I definitely don't want to take this certain measure, or I know that's fine. Have that in your mind. But to write a birthing plan, I think, is wild. And if you think, well, I didn't, it worked out good and God bless you, but that ain't most women. Like, I had to have an emergency C-section. Never would have wanted that. Certain things work out or don't with breastfeeding. The breastfeeding police has seemed to subside because people have come to their senses and realized that you need to focus on yourself and offer support, but not judgment. I mean, everybody, you know, if you're having a baby, like, you probably got tits, like, you know what to do. Okay, we know what to do. I'm sorry, I get really upset about that. And the only thing I ever had, thank God I didn't have like postpartum depression. I didn't have like that. But after, when I stopped breastfeeding, which was really tough for me, Livy she came out 10 pounds, okay? And the lactation specialist in the hospital literally was like, you have no more colostrum left. Livy had more colostrum than any kid on earth. Like, she sucked it down. The lactation specialist was like, she wants volume. She wants a belly full of mashed potatoes. And she literally gave me formula. Like, the lactation specialist is like, you need to give this child this. So, you know, when my milk did come in, like, I tried and it was fine, but I would always have to supplement with the formula because she was so hungry. And I know someone listening is like, that's not true. Well, yeah, for your child, that was, you know, I'm your child that was like maybe a little string bean, but like, I mean, it was wild, okay? It was wild times, and you just do what you got to do, okay? We all are just doing our best, and there's a special place in hell for people that are judgy of other moms, literally. And so here's the thing, like, okay, and don't push your experience on me, okay? Because it ain't you. Okay, none of us are the same. We're just not. Like, we can offer support, give people advice, but who cares if things work out or don't? Like, that's your bad. But when I fully made the decision, like, I'm making myself crazy with this breastfeeding and it's not good for any of us. And when I stopped, and when it was like, you know, like when you have to let it kind of go away, so that you have to let, it's so painful. Like, you have to let your body know, you know, you stop feeding and your boobs hurt so bad. It's just, you're in so much pain, like, from that, but your body has to know, like, okay, there's no one feeding from this. Like, we're just going to stop producing milk. That's what's going on. It did something wacky with my hormones. It made me feel like the worst mother on earth. Like, you're not feeding your child. Like, it literally, like, that's how we're made as women. Like, it's just guilt. Like, feed your child. You're not feeding your child. You know, and that was really tough. So be prepared for that. Good times. And just enjoy it. You know, I think that we do also, and I hope things are better now, but when I had Olivia, it was very much like, those are the wrong shoes. You're doing this wrong. It was the mom police had made like this subset on the internet because they thought, well, what can we do? We're moms. Let's talk about being moms and let's shame other moms. Good job, guys. No, but it was a wild west of a time. And I think that people are more like, even with trolls and the comments people make now, I think we're all more like savvy, where we know, like, that's embarrassing. And so there's not as much hate and there's not as much of that. And I think a lot of that, like, judgy mom stuff, we've realized is kind of embarrassing and cruel and goes against, like, what you're trying to do. So don't listen to any of that shit. Like, do what you want to do and you're going to figure it out. Women have been figuring it out for years before the internet, probably better than a lot of us are doing now. And you don't need the books. You don't need the classes. I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it. Like, you're either going to know what to do or you're not. Lean on your family that you can. And that's another thing, because Brad and I worked from home, I think we didn't maybe reach out to people as much and say, hey, like, you know, like, it was nice once a week, Brad's family and stuff would come and they would, you know, we'd get to go out for a day and they would watch it. And that was really nice. And as she got older, she started spending the night with them, and that would be really nice. But like, a lot of, like, I was working full time, you know, I mean, literally, like, we're running a business, we're doing other things behind the scenes. And we also had her, and it was stressful. And I would love that we had that luxury that most people don't have, to be home with our child, running a business or not. But at the same time, because, you know, we have the same stress as everybody else. You got to pay your bills. You got to make money. I think a lot of people that may see other people that are clocking in a certain hour, you know, well, those kids, oh, we got to take care, you know, like, it's almost like you think, well, yeah, I can have childcare during that time. But I think people would have done that if we would have asked, you know, like, hey, could you, but then I don't want to put anybody out. Like, I'm not going to have, you know what I mean? Like, I felt bad asking people like, hey, you know, these days are really hard for me. Like, could I get you to take her on these days? And I never felt right asking anybody about that. So we never did that. And I guess my point is if you have someone in your life, a family member that you can trust, someone that you're close with, like, don't feel bad about asking for help, right? And even if you don't have that and you're able to financially, hire a night nurse, okay? My God. If I had someone that I would have trusted, that would have been the biggest luxury in life. I mean, there ain't nobody raising your kid, okay? Before anybody gets judgy. But it's just about like some sanity and you'll be a better person, okay? What's your all-time fave perfume? Gucci 2, which has been discontinued. But I looked it up and there's this European brand that's got a dupe. If you just look up dupe of Gucci 2, it'll come up. And I think it's around $60 or something. I told Brad, I was like, I'm going to get that soon. But currently though, and I went through the whole Baccarat Rouge phase, went through bottles of that, and I love it. But something about that isn't always like, I don't know. I'm kind of over that. The Byredo La Tulipe is what I'm doing now. The La Tulipe. Nothing better. And of course, like I love the YSL Libre and I love certain things, but those are just like extras that you use every now and then. Any perfume I've ever told you guys that I like, but the La Tulipe by Rado is just every day, just bathe in it, which when I go to the anniversary sale, I'm going to pick up another bottle of it. Which Cartier love bracelet size do you prefer? I cannot tell how long we've gone because I've stopped this a few times. So let's just do a few more questions, then we'll save some more because I got some really good. We'll do this again soon. This is fun, but stick around. Okay, we got some more. Brad got me these on my first Mother's Day after I had Olivia. I had her in January. So a few months later, he got me these, which, you know, around that time it was like, and I love them, okay? I really think these are classic and beautiful, and I never take them. I've only taken them off a handful of times. Now, I have a cuff and a thin one. Now, and I got the cuff with a diamond in it. Now this is the yellow gold. The little thin one is actually rose gold. You can kind of tell a difference now, but it's not like, I love how the Cartier rose gold isn't like ugly rose gold. It's not like super pink. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a huge fan of these little ones. Now, I do not have just one that looks like this that is a full, I really love the cuff. I think these two would be what I would recommend. Now, the reason I got two is because we went in and I was going to get one of the regular ones with one diamond. And one of those was the same price as these two. And so our sales associate was real cool and nice and told us that. And he was pulling them out and Brad said, oh, these two are the same. Brad kind of figured that out. And then they were like, yeah. So I think this is a nice little combo. Because I do think, I don't want to say one looks sad. Please, these are stupid, expensive. Like, one's great. But I do kind of think the vibe of having it stacked with another one is cute. And this is a good way to do it. So I do like these two combined. But I think honestly the way to go would be maybe to get two of these thin ones. And I've always thought about maybe getting another one, but I don't know. I think the time has passed. Maybe eventually. But I think if I ever got another one, I would get another thin one. Not a question, but I hope you kept the napkins and the napkin rings from the last video. I did. And when I got them home and I laid them out, they're still on my dining room table. Like, do you guys do that when you buy something new for your house? You'll kind of lay it out for the perfect moment to like piddle with it. Cause like I'm gonna like set the table up. Usually I have a bare table, but I don't know, I might like do something kind of cute with it. But those napkins, which I'll link to again, that's gonna be such a pretty vibe for Christmas because they're like green. So I think while they were wildly expensive, and Pottery Barn, who in the world do you think you are? Okay, my God. I really am, I'm really into them. If you guys want more talk like this, even deeper, oh my gosh, so much stuff, you can listen to our podcast. A lot of you guys are over there. It's a good time. So anyways, you guys, thank you for watching. I will, if I didn't address your question, which I know I probably got through like maybe not even a quarter of the questions, we'll get to them. We'll get to them eventually, okay? But I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.